Hello, good evening, everyone. Gabriel Lima here, and we are about to start our Monday live session. I'm just gonna invite our partners to join the chat, and I'm also gonna ask you to bring your questions, and of course, we're gonna try to help you as much as we can. Today, our topic is gonna be about safety. Just give me a second here. Just waiting a bit so Lionel and Sergio can join us. Oh, Sergio is on the way, and I think Lionel is on the way too.
Hello, hello.
Hello, good evening. Good evening,
Good
guys.
evening,
Good
everyone.
Welcome.
evening.
Okay,
Good
so we
evening,
have the
Gabriel.
whole team together.
Yes,
So
here we are.
we are about to start. Just let me just finish here my setup. I need to turn on my.
Oh, I hope that we didn't lose Gabriel right now.
I think he muted his microphone.
Hello, hello.
Yeah,
There he is.
we
Yep,
Oh,
have
we're
you.
sorry.
good.
Oh, okay. I think I was out for a bit. Sorry. This is Facebook. I love Facebook, but once in a while it's hard to deal with this. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Monday live session, and today we're going to talk about safety and a few topics more. And of course, who we would love to hear you. So please just drop your questions on the comment box. And with me, so my name is Gabriel Lima from GL Tours, Algarve Travel Insider, and with me we have Sergio Costa from northern Portugal, the areas of Porto, Douro Valley, and the whole country, and as well as Leonel Rodrigues from Portugal Desirable Tours, and we're gonna start precisely with Leonel. Leonel, go ahead,
There we
my friend.
go. Good evening, everyone. Sergio, Gabriel, and everybody who's watching. Thank you for joining us. And today, we can't stress this much, but we've been talking about safety a few times. And today I had a little bit of that experience regarding safety that some people sometimes, think that might be a little bit of, overreacting or a little bit of too much concern about a few things. So today I was in Sintra. I was driving a rental van, not the normal kind of vans that I usually rent. What I got was not what I was expecting. So I got a different brand, a different model, totally white, totally clear windows, so no tinted windows. And you know when you park the car in a certain place and you feel, well, I have my backpack just with bottles of water here inside, but I don't feel comfortable with this because there is no luggage cover. There was no way to put that over there, but was just a backpack, like a thermal backpack with bottles of water. And of course, I parked it in a place that I know it's quite busy, and a lot of people walk past the car. And the car was, a little bit, unsuspicious. But for those that can easily identify certain kind of vehicles, they easily understand that it's a rental. And in fact, I had no way to leave my luggage. My backpack covered. And this is something that happens a bit everywhere. The people that want to rent vehicles to drive around, and then they end up feeling, oh, there is really not a place to park. Let's park on the first spot that we can find. Several models are easily identifiable as rentals, or some even people take the stickers out, but sometimes there's a barcode here and there, whatever. And we are aware. I am aware of the place where I was, and I knew that pretty much there was no issue of leaving the car parked over there. And of course, was just a backpack with bottles of water, and I always ran full insurance. So if something would happen, okay, we were covered. But I feel that a lot of people want to travel through the country and they want to have their freedom, and sometimes they think they are saving some money by doing so. But the safety risks do exist here and there. And for us guides, we know where to park, where not to park, how to leave the vehicle here and there or not. Places where we really know I'm not going to drop the car over here, I'm not going to leave the car over here. And it happens sometimes, and it happened to me today. I was in a place where I know that once in a while we have some broken glass on the floor, so there's some break-ins over there. And I pretty much, okay, I was checking the van just in case. Okay. Some people might think that, okay, I'm overthinking about this, but these kind of things do happen. Portugal is in fact a very safe country, and we've been ranking quite well regarding safety, but that doesn't mean that we are exempt of issues. And now that the season is picking up, and plenty of people are traveling through the country, and they planned their travels already, and I see a lot of people renting cars to go back and forth and such. We cannot forget the basic things about traveling around. And if you are not really sure or really confident with the choices, well, it's better probably to get someone that really knows the nooks and crannies, the ins and outs of a certain place to deal with it. Okay. I see a lot of people driving around on their rental cars, people that rent a car to drive from Lisbon to Porto. And one of the common stops, by example, is Óbidos. So Óbidos has what I can consider a very limited area where parking I would consider quite easy and safe. And there's a big area where not even by chance I would leave a vehicle with luggage inside. Almost all the dirt parking lots over there, I don't feel confident with them. I don't feel comfortable with them. But I see a lot of people without any other option to park the car. They end up parking over there. Of course, this can be a little bit an unfortunate event, but once in a while we hear about these things. And what people should really to take present, it's sometimes the simplest gesture of arriving at the parking lot, dropping the car. Oh, I forgot something on the trunk. Let me open the trunk because I forgot my sunglasses. Let me get my bottle of water. Let me get my handbag, whatever. And people open the trunk and they reveal they have luggage inside the car. So you might think that this doesn't exist, but there are people checking, there are people watching, there are people really kind of controlling the movements, who gets in, who gets out, and sometimes these unfortunate things do happen. Once again, Portugal, it is a very safe country. We've been ranking quite high on the safety rankings, but not exempt of issues. So for all those that are traveling over here, beware, don't take chances. I do this often, okay? If I know that I need to take something out from the back of the car, I'll probably do that in a stop somewhere before definitively go parking the car to the parking lot. I probably grab my bag, the sunglasses or whatever. Even if I need to stop on the gas station or whatever, like 5 or 10 minutes before my my destination, I'll do that. Why? When I park the car, I'm not opening the trunk to get something from the bags. So I'm not really revealing what is inside the vehicle. And this is something that might make the difference. Of course, there are a few other tricks, and there's a lot of things written about that. There are a few other tricks, but what I can just say, and the goal of my message is really enjoy your travels in here, but don't open the door to these people that are checking what's going on. because you just make things easier for them because they spot that in fact you have stuff in the vehicle and such. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I rent vehicles once in a while, and I sometimes don't feel comfortable here and there with the rented vehicle because I know
yeah.
it can be spotted and it can be a target.
Exactly.
Now, another thing, groups of people or big groups of people. Well, always be aware with your stuff, and this is something that is written online a bit everywhere. Always be aware where you have your stuff, your valuable items, because they are getting, I would say, sneaky and professional more and more in certain areas. It's not only on the tram 28 or in the elevators in Lisbon or whatever. They are getting a bit more present everywhere. One of the places that once in a while gets some issues is at Cabo da Roca, where I was today. Today it was peaceful and quiet, but a couple of weeks ago I was in my car, okay, the black ID4, and there was a checkpoint operation by the police checking the vehicles. Of course, they looked inside the vehicle. I was with my guests. Okay, please, move on. But probably if they felt that there was something suspicious in one or another vehicle, they probably would go for some deeper checks. I don't know what was going on, but probably something just had happened over there, an hour ago or so, and they were doing their job over there, checking what was going on the area. So, pretty much, I don't want people to feel deterred to come to Portugal, not at all. Just what I want people to be aware, it's that, here and there are issues, but in most cases, the issues do happen because people make it easy for this, unpleasant persons to be around. People make their life easier. And now that the season it's really picking up, it's once again to reinforce this. So just pay attention to your surroundings and always try to minimize the exposure to this kind of situations. So this is my take about this. I know that you might have some. Gabriel, in the car rental issues in the Algarve, most people rent cars. Most people park the cars to go to the beach or to visit the caves or whatever. And yes, I'm just reading here a comment of Steve. Yes, unfortunately, that happens because they are easy targets. So we try to help people. We try to recommend the best practices, but these things do happen. So Gabriel, you want to pick up on this?
Yes, just like you know, when we talk about these topics, we feel a bit like, should we talk about this? Should we go deeper or not?
Let me just say something. Let me just say something over here. Sorry to interrupt you. I feel that a lot of people don't want to talk about this kind of things because they feel this is bad publicity, and what a lot of people just want to show, it's the beauty and the positivity of the things because that brings business. Well, sorry to say, and the three of us, and you will agree with me, of course, we have our businesses, and of course we want people to visit around and to enjoy Portugal. But one thing that we will never hide, it's the reality and the honest approach and the direct approach to what is the reality that we have. So the elephant in the room, we need to address it. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, precisely. We have a saying in Portugal. I was trying to figure out the translation. I don't even know if there's a translation. Maybe you can help us. And I'm going to say it in Portuguese. Não serve nada tapar o sol com a peneira. So hiding things that will show up easily, it's not a good marketing. I am a guy from sales. I've been selling all my life, and I've been seeing so many people who open their businesses here in the Algarve, everywhere, but here in the Algarve, and they always try to sugarcoat everything. They always try to hide the downsides. Well, maybe most people, or even on Facebook, all these groups, they already know me. I'm not always, bringing a cloud over our heads, but I don't like just sugarcoating because we have also downsides here in Portugal, everywhere. And many times when people they come to Portugal, they are following all these pseudo influencers, sugarcoating travel advisors or whatever, and this is what they do. They don't show you the downsides. They don't show you the dangers. They don't tell you to be cautious. They will tell you that Portugal, it's the new Disneyland of Europe. It's not. Okay, this is not Mexico. Just to because it comes on the news that the things in Mexico now are very bad for tourists and expats too. But this is not Mexico. This is not other countries in Southern America. But in Portugal, we have issues too. And what if I told you that here in the Algarve, and like you said, and very well, we are having way more rent-a-cars, It becomes known, it becomes popular that in the Algarve, people, they need a rent-a-car, they need to drive around, and it makes sense because it's a large region and the public transportation doesn't hit all hotspots. And I've been noticing, well, I'm a tour guide, so I'm driving everywhere, and even for me, sometimes it's hard to park. And I've been noticing all the parking lots getting more complete and very full. And then I see people like I'm going to mention some of the very popular parking lots here. Praia da Marinha, Praia do Benagil, so people, they want to see the caves, Ponta de Piedade in Lagos, Camilo in Lagos, Falésia Beach in Albufeira, and many more. All these very popular spots that people with a rent-a-car and the GPS, Google Maps or whatever, they are following the bucket list. They are getting more and more rent-a-cars. Now I'm going to ask you something. Let's think like a criminal. I know, well, for me it's very hard, but let's do this game. If you are a criminal and if your business is robbing cars, breaking cars, where would you start going? Where would you think that? Well, we have a big new market in the Algarve, and well, let's go there. There are people that are on vacation, and especially in summer. Many of these guys, they also come to the Algarve sometimes for a week or so, and they don't lose the chance to steal people. And I've been noticing more and more and more these things happening. Just like Steve said, I know quite well the outside of the wall in Lagos. I know maybe he's talking about the eastern side of the wall, so not by the river, the western part of the wall. There's a big kind of open space where people, they park the car. Sometimes I park the car there. I already know, I don't know everyone, but the junkies, they already know me. They know I'm a tour guide. I know the guys. So usually, like happens in Seville or in many spots, they don't try to broke our cars. They already know me. They know my white van. They know my other car. So usually I feel a bit more safe. But just like you, Lionel, when I hire a car and then I have to stop in Évora or Mil Fontes, I'm a bit concerned. I always try to park close to some areas, like in front of a cafe or a busy restaurant. For instance, in Évora, I like to park by the police station. I mean, I'm very careful with this because I know rent-a-cars, they are the target for these kind of people. And these things, they happen and they are happening more. Each year, they are happening more. I know this, I mean, I can't show you data, but as you can imagine, I have a bunch of friends from Guarda Nacional Republicana, the GNR, here in Albufeira, also in Faro. I know guys in, many people, local people in Lagos too, sometimes we talk about this, even in our local groups, in Portuguese groups, and we are aware about this. And we are aware that many people who are abroad, who are watching us now, maybe they are listening to us, maybe for them it's like, what the hell are they are talking about? Maybe they are a bit surprised, but this happens here. So when you travel Portugal and you are using a rent-a-car, there will be chances of getting problems, scratches or whatever, or even the worst scenario, someone breaking you the window and stealing you whatever. So we don't want to scare people, but these things happens. Okay. It happens even with me. I was telling you before we started this live that once I was in sales. So maybe this was 15, 16 years ago. It was maybe June. I went for lunch with my wife, and then we noticed, okay, we still have here 15, 20 minutes. We just stopped by San Rafael, which is one of the most beautiful beaches here in Albufeira, just 3-4 kilometers away from the old town. And I just stopped for a minute, and I opened the trunk. I don't know what I was doing there, and my laptop was there, the professional laptop. And then I just walked just to see the beach from the cliff. I was able to see the car, but maybe for 1 minute or two, I was taking photos. And then when we walked back to the car, 5 minutes later, the laptop already gone, and they broke the van. So I lost my afternoon. I lost my laptop. I went to GNR to make the complaint and whatever. Then I had some issues. I didn't have issues with my directors, but of course they told me, so why the hell you live there in just left the laptop there? I mean, this happens even with us. So when we bring these topics, it's not to scare people. It's just consider this just one more friendly reminder, because we need to keep this in mind, okay? And this is just one, let's say one side of these safety problems that sometimes it happens. We have also some neighborhoods who are not so friendly, not even towards locals. So everywhere, especially of course on the outskirts of the big cities like Lisbon or Porto, but also here in Lagos, also here in Albufeira, also in Faro, we have some neighborhoods that, well, maybe it's not a good idea to go there at night, or maybe it's not a good idea to park the car here and there. So when we bring these issues, when we bring these topics, it's just to help you. Of course, we are tour guides, and of course, we want to tell people, just book with us, get rid of all this stress, but don't take it this like we are trying here just to sell something. It's not that. We just want to help you to avoid problems. Okay, well, from my end, I think I said enough for today. So, Sergio, you live in Porto, and I know Porto. I love Porto. You know that we've done tours there, but I also know that Porto and all these areas here, and for sure Douro Valley, some parking lots, maybe these problems they could show up too, right?
Yeah,
Sergio.
true. So you guys left me with 5 minutes to talk, and it's a good thing because I have, like I like to say, I have 2 ears but only one mouth, because I like to listen more than what I talk. So here's my 2 cents on this. You're right. In Porto, it's not different, and people would actually be very surprised because there is one extremely popular place in Porto that, if you're not careful, can also turn into a bit of a hairy situation, which is precisely the Ribeira area. Going down from the cathedral, Cerro Porto, all the way down to the waterfront, those stairs that you have to take, you have plenty of options to go there, but that's the ground basically of the locals. And I actually took a tour a couple of years ago as a tourist myself, to get to know the city a little bit, because I mean, sometimes I also like to take tours to have a different and fresh perspective of my own town, for example. And the guy told us that he had been working over there for 5 or 6 years, and it took him nearly 2 years for the locals of that area to warm up to him and to have people to accept that he was going to bring people down the stairs and to see the Ribeira, to see how they were living. So yeah, it's one of those situations where it can take a little bit longer, and definitely it's kind of like a tribe that you have over there. It's mostly for the locals, and sometimes when we have a knowledgeable tour guide that is seen as a local by the locals, they accept some people taking, let's say, a sneak peek at their way of life over there. If you go there on your own, and I wouldn't venture, even as a local, I wouldn't venture going there at night, for example, At day, it's very beautiful. You won't have a problem or minor issues because there's always people passing by over there nowadays. But 10, 15 years ago, it was not a very safe area to be in Porto. Another example that I have, usually these problems are concentrated in Porto. They are concentrated in the less touristy areas. So chances are that you won't run across them very frequently. But for example, the swimming pool where I go and do my swim practices, it's basically a two-way street. Let's call it a larger avenue. Two lanes going up, a garden in the middle, two lanes going down. If I park on the side of the avenue that has two lanes going down, my chances of getting my car broken into suddenly jump something like 70 to 100%. They double. Whereas if I park on the side of the street that is going up instead of going down, I won't have a problem with that. It's crazy. And so
Yeah.
it just goes to show that there are some places that even on such a microscopic scale, on a micro scale, like a single street, parking on one side of the street is safe. Parking on the opposite side of the street, it's not very safe. So yeah. For the rest, well, you guys love to hear about the Douro Valley. So here's my take on the Douro Valley. What I would say about the Douro Valley is that it's less about the bad intentions, it's more about the accidents happening. That's it. Especially because, for example, I'm thinking right now, Pinhão. The dock of Pinhão, that's absolute chaos. It's mayhem during the summer. And for people who go there frequently, you know that in front of the docks, you basically have a two-way street that with all of the cars parked over there, it turns into a one-way street. You have a hotel on one side and you have the river on the other side. That's it. So obviously you're not going to drive onto the river. And the lane closest to the river is usually taken by parked vehicles. It does happen that we have buses passing over there. They scratch a mirror, they bust a mirror up, something like that. It happens. It's more about the accidents rather than the bad intentions. The Pinhão Bridge, for example, it's another very notorious example. Very narrow bridge, but it's still a two-way bridge. When there's a larger vehicle like a bus or a truck coming the opposite direction, you have to wait at the entrance of the bridge because otherwise it's going to be a little bit tricky. Even larger vehicles, let's say two minivans, it's already very tricky. And I have seen people, and well, I was driving, I was almost getting off the bridge on the other side, on the Viseu district side, so southern bank of the Douro River. And I noticed that there was a person, and as you said, rent-a-car driver. He decided to just push through, and he basically hit the car on the side of the bridge. I think he blew a tire up and definitely scuffed the rim. And if he didn't have full insurance, that was going to be a very costly repair for him. And regarding the psychology of this all, well, we don't hear these bad stories a whole lot because there's this thing that we feel embarrassed, we feel ashamed of making poor choices, making poor decisions. And
True.
we think that it's all going to be very nice, and we want to present people the postcard dream that we had, the fantastic holiday over there. But sometimes, and I've heard these stories from several guests already. For example, there is one. I had three ladies coming. I think this was 3 years ago, who told me that they came to the valley pre-COVID, and they chose a tour guide that for them, he was not a guide at all. He was more of an entertainer slash clown. He would be better fitted in a circus than he would be in the Douro Valley explaining what things are doing. And they told me that it was a disgraceful experience for them because well, long story short, the guy got a little bit drunk during the tour, almost got into a confrontation with the restaurant owner over lunch and whatnot. So definitely not the most memorable experience. And they told me we were embarrassed of telling people that we had this sort of experience at the Douro Valley because when their friends were asking them about their trip to Portugal, they did say everything. They talked about Lisbon, they talked about Porto, they talked about Sintra, they talked about Algarve. And then when they were asked, well, you did go to the Douro Valley, how was that? They were like, well, we'd rather not talk about the Douro Valley. They deflected. This happened. We also had one very similar experience very recently in one of these online groups with another guide who was called unprofessional and whatnot. But tempering expectations is also very important, and knowing how to read the situation and the ambiance is something that experienced tour guides know how to do. And yeah, people are afraid. I've heard the stories of bad tour selection, bad hotel selection. Some people, they don't like to tell about the hotels. They don't like to share because they're embarrassed that they made a poor hotel selection. Either the location was bad or the hotel was bad or something like that. I have this happening very frequently where I have guests booking a hotel, a fancy hotel that has Douro Valley or something in the name, only to figure out that they will be better off just staying in Porto, for example, because what is being promoted as a Douro Valley is actually not a Douro Valley yet. And considering the logistics of going to that hotel and back to that hotel, well, there's nothing, there's not much that they can do over there. So yeah, people feel this pressure of delivering a positive experience, and when things don't happen, they don't want to mention it and they don't want to talk about it. But the truth is that the negative side of things is also a reality, and we have to take that in consideration. For example, when we're purchasing something, a big item, something expensive and whatnot, we like to read not just, at least I like to do this, I like to read not just the good reviews, but I also like to read the less good reviews to see what people are pointing out as a something that can be a deal breaker, something that can be improved upon in the future. And this applies to everything. For example, Gabriel, in your area, oh, renting a car. We have to rent a car to see the Algarve. Yeah, what are the pros and cons of renting a car in the Algarve, right? Is it going to be easy? The parking situation, the potential hazardous and ill-intended people watching over us. Lionel, same thing. What about Sintra? Oh, Pena Palace and whatnot. But everyone wants to do that. And is it safe to do it? Where should I park the car? Can I drive there? We still see people asking the question, where do I park in Sintra? How can I get to Sintra using a rental, etc., etc. Just the other day, even just to give people a bit of a heads up, we were talking amongst ourselves. There are some Uber driver groups out there on Facebook and whatnot. The Uber drivers are now refusing to take people up to Sintra because they say that they're not getting paid well enough. There's no chance of driving all the way up to the monuments, and they are risking getting bad reviews for because they
Bad
cannot
service.
drop people off at the monuments. So this is the reality. People are the Uber drivers. If you think that you can Uber all the way to Sintra, good luck with that, because you either are going to get someone that is a novice doing the area, or you won't get anyone at all. So yeah, there are these less than stellar things that do happen over here. We have to be aware of them. But as you were saying, you focused on the third party issue, the ill-intended people, and this is something that we also have to take into consideration. Fortunately, over here in the north, you would probably hear a curse word faster than someone trying to do bad at you, but that's the reality of it. But it still happens over here. There are some dangerous areas, some dangerous places, but that's pretty much it. Over here in the north, again, as I said, it's more about accidents and it's less about the bad intentions and the bad actors. So that's my take on it. Anything else that you guys like to add?
Well, you just said something that I've been telling a lot. People should always read the bad reviews, and if something on the bad review kind of triggers or rings the bell, well, you've been warned and you already know what to expect because someone had an experience that was not pleasant. So if this doesn't please you, okay, well, you already know that it can happen. You were just mentioning about Sintra, and my latest update. Today I was there and I went to Montserrat. Pena Palace, I refuse to go there with the mess that it's going on at the moment by car, okay? by car. The closest spot to go, it's not well close enough, and what is happening over there, it's just a mess. I just seen some videos recently. Hopefully, they will sort the issue soon, but I'm not sure it's going to be so soon that they're gonna reopen the normal road. But I went to Montserrat, and even I asked the police officer while I was in the city, while I was in town in the morning, okay, is the road definitely open coming from the other side? Yes, the road is open. And we were heading there through the one possible road, and the road wasn't really open. It had a sign saying it was closed, but there was a plan B, which I took. So even there's some conflicting information or temporary changes, because in fact I still saw some debris and some finishing works of cutting some trees. Okay, so some remainder bits of cut trees over there, because they've been cleaning the road. But for the normal driver that would try to go to Montserrat, pretty much the GPS would put him in trouble for sure, because it would not be able to recalculate the accurate route to go to Montserrat the way it is. So pretty much we went there smoothly. We visited, we came back, but sections are still closed over there. And this happens here and there in the country. Some roads are being resumed. By the way, I was just reading the news that the highway in Coimbra, it's reopening with one lane each way on the broken section. So it seems to be back, or seems to have reopened today in the afternoon. But more news to follow. So probably tomorrow we'll get the confirmation of that, or more news to follow. But these are the things that we as locals are always aware, and we as locals, we know which plan Bs are possible to take. Well, driving around in a rental car, this can bring some hiccups for sure. So this is also about safety, because taking the example of Sintra, if you take the bad turn, you are stuck. And I've seen people putting cars in certain places in Sintra that I kind of scratch my head and think, how the heck did that car come down to this spot, and how are they going to take it out of here? Yeah. Because that it's not going to get out of here without some fender benders and some scratches. And of course, if there is no full insurance, the bill will be very, very costly. So, just my final thoughts about this. Just asking you, Gabriel, if you have something else to add over here. But from my side, pretty much, this was it.
Just to finish, the 30 minutes gone already. We love to talk, and again, so we just bring this up because we're concerned about people, and in the long term, we know that if people they don't have many issues here, they will keep coming. So I think it's always a good idea to have consider us as those friends that tell you the truth, not just what you want to hear, right? So the real friends are the ones who sometimes they tell us what we don't like so much to hear. Are you sure? Yeah, just be careful, just be cautious, and everything will be cool. And just to finish, just a small update about the conditions here. At least in the Algarve, everything is 100% operational. The only thing that people they still have to be very careful now. 2 days ago, I noticed that some boat trips they were not yet operating. So it's about the cliffs and the grottos and caves. Don't get too close to the edge. Don't walk under arches and cliffs or whatever, because the rock hazard is really a thing after all these storms we had. Besides that, today everyone was using t-shirts, including myself, t-shirts and shorts. So from my hand, it's everything. Sergio, you want to say some last words?
Since you've already given the update over there, situation remains unchanged over here in Porto. Everything is working as usual. Same thing for the Douro Valley as well. And since we kind of feel like the weather channel over here as of late, last week we were talking about rainstorms and whatnot. This week we have to talk about the Saharan dust that is coming up this week. So You see, we are, it's raining on one week and then it's extremely sunny and dry on the following week. So you're going to see some interesting pictures coming out of Portugal in the next couple of days, probably with some orange tint skies and whatnot. It almost going to feel like it's Mars over here. That's the update.
Yeah. Well, just to finish, right now I just checked. So for Thursday with some dust, so maybe some orange tip Mars, kind of a Mars atmosphere, we're gonna reach 24 Celsius here in the Algarve. So about 75. Well, it's all, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Just post your questions. On our group, we will try to help you as much as we can, as well as all other our growing community. We are already 9,000 and we are about to reach 10,000. So share the group with your fellow friends who might want to travel to Portugal too. And we'll be back here next Monday with another topic. And well, I just want to wish you a great week ahead. And bye-bye, guys. It was, again, a big pleasure to talk with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Good evening. See you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.